Welcome back, Math 20-3. Today we are concluding Chapter 7, which is Analyzing a Budget Part 2. As you may notice, this chapter has a lot of Part 1 and Part 2. This should be the last one, and the main thing that we're going to focus on is basically constructing a visual graph for your budget. That is an outcome, if you will. And as you may can see on the top, page 356 is what you need to go to. Some of the material we need, some unique material we need. If you have a compass, that's good. If you don't have a compass, any type of cylinder object will be great, and I'm gonna show you that later. And protractor should be also another material that you can bring. So let's get this started. I'm gonna use example number 2 on page 356 as a main guiding example for today's lesson. Let's read first. Salima works as a lifeguard and swimming instructor, and she earns about $2,400 per month. Her average monthly expenses are given. And there's a table of her expenses, which I'm going to copy here. In addition, Salima has research spending guidelines. These guidelines give a recommendation of how much your income should spend on each category, and it shows you the percentage as a guideline, which is another table. So first of all, I am going to copy this table. At this time, if you want to pause the video, copy it for yourself with your own rate, feel free. So table 1 shows about expenses, and I'm going to copy another table that show about the percentage spending guideline. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, missing one. It took a long time, but there are two tables now. So let's look at the question. A, what change needs to be made so that Salima's spending falls within the guideline? So we are kind of comparing each of those. And what is the maximum that Salima should be spending on food per month? Show Salima's spending on a circle graph. So let's talk about her income first. Net income. Her net income, according to the question, is $2,400. So now, in order to compare each of them, the first thing that you need to do is convert expenses into percentage. And the way that you show that is compare with net income. So that means, first of all, rent will be calculated as 760 divided by 2,400 times by 100. That's basically what you need to do. Take out your calculator, which in my case I'm going to use a computer. And when you do the calculation, 760 divided by 2,400, that is about 0.32. So it turned out to be around 32%. Do the same thing. It's about 5.8%, which is 6%. Food, I'm gonna put everything. Writing part is tedious, but entertainment, okay, food, and entertainment, clothes is 200. Track it well, folks. Others 345. This is about 400 divided with 2,400 gives you about 17%. And rounded, of course. Transportation, 175, that's about 7%. 8%. Clothes, 8%. Saving, 8%. Others, which is 14%. At this point, the calculation is basically repeating. Everything should add it up to around 100%, and it does for this example, so please double check. Now, we are gonna basically conclude and compare whether she spent extra or not for each of the category. So let's look at the housing, rent. Actually fall under the category of 25 to 35, so that one's check. Utility turned out to be 6%, which is also between 5 to 10. Food turned out to be 17%. The recommended was 5 to 15, so we didn't meet the spending guideline. Transportation 7%, 5 to 15 check. Entertainment 8%, so entertainment check. Clothes 8%, so 2 to 5% didn't reach. Saving 8%, 5 to 15 fall under the category. Others 14%, 5 to 10% didn't meet. So Salima need to basically reconsider her budget for food, clothes, and others category. Have that in your mind. Now let's go with part B, which is about what is the maximum that Salima should be spending on food per month. So here's the thing. Her food turned out to be 17%, which was quite higher. So let's assume that she spent about, or should spend about 15% of her net income. Then here's what you need to do. First of all, convert to decimal whenever you see the percentage. Then you multiply by whole. In this case, whole means net income. So here's what you need to do. 0.15 multiplied by 2,400 bucks. Take out your calculator. 0.15 multiplied by 2400. $360 is what you need to do. And that's what Salima should spend. And it should be, well, according to the guideline, should be her maximum. Which is tough to do nowadays, because if you consider food for grocery, then you may need to understand to find out the balance, maybe eat out less, those kind of thing. C, how can we make this into a circle graph? So in order to make everything in circle graph, it is important to remember all of those percentage. So I'm going to put these category again. Rent, utility, food, transportation, entertainment, clothes, saving, others. Rent should be, it was 32%, 6%, 17%, 7%, 8%, 8%, 8%, 14%. Now, finding out the percentage, if you don't have a percentage, this is a step number 1. Now, step number 2 is basically find, and this is the name of it, sector angle. And the way that you can find a sector angle is, first of all, percentage you need to convert into decimal, and then multiply by 360 degree, which is a whole angle. That will give you how much, how can I say, the big piece of a pie or pizza for each of the category. So here's what you need to do. Zero 0.32, 0.06, 0.17, 0.07, and then each of them you need to multiply 360 for everything. There you go. Then you will have, you will have rounded angle for each of them. Take out your calculator. 0.32 times by 360 provides you about 115.2, and again round it up to, whole number, 115 degree. Next one, 22. Next one, 61. Transportation, 25. 29, it's the same thing, same for the bottom, and 14% turned out to be 0.14, 50. These should be add up to 360 degree. If it's close enough to 360, that's good enough. Now step number 3, which is our possible last one, but not the last. It's almost getting there. We need to divide circle, a circle, into different sector. So in order to do that, I gotta create a circle. This is where I'm just gonna raise it up the gooseneck a little bit. There you go. That's a little better. So I recommend use a compass. If you don't have a compass, any type of cylinder, I'm using my nut container. Any type of big enough circle when you create, that will be great. And locate your center. Now, first of all, you need to have a title. So title of that is Selena's budget for a month, something like that. And we should have each of the sector ready. Now the first sector was rent. Rent was, and this is where you need to use your protractor. Put your center at the intersection point over here. We're starting with 0 all the way to 115. So 90, 115, which is over here. That one's over here. There you go. And we have this category, rent. And you need to put the percentage, 32%. And generally you need to color each of them. And that's what you should do in the circle graph. Rent, done. Others. Utility, 22. So you can just rotate the circle. Place your 0. Add one of the end. Doesn't have to be this end. It can be other end too. But it really doesn't matter. 22 is located over here. Connect them together. And we can say this is utility, and that's a 6%. And then food, 17%, which is 61 degree. Now I'm gonna pick up some pace. And it's a good idea to check everything off from a paper that you had before. The next one is transportation. Then entertainment, which is 29. There are 3 categories that is under 29, so I'm gonna just make it. Oopsie. There you go. Everything is now done. 29% was entertainment. Which was 8%. Clothes. 8%. Savings. 8%. And then others, 14%. Now, when it comes to our last job, legend, which I don't have any coloring material, but if you happen to have white for rent, then you need to go like that and rent. If you, for example, color utility with blue, then you put blue and utility, and food will be yellow. Then, for example, yellow, you got the idea. Oops, sorry. I literally put yellow. Food, something like that. And you can just build up more and more after that. That is basically today's lesson. Your to-do list is, oh, where was it? Oh, there you go. Three, 4, 5. It's all the way from 359 to 362. That is your to-do list.